Jacqueline Masse has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Her highly elaborate insurance scam, involving fake medical records, unfit food, and an eye-watering $400,000, has left many people in shock. How could such a sophisticated fraud go undetected? And why did Jacqueline decide to carry out such a risky scheme? What was the motivation behind it? Masse was an office manager and paralegal at a law firm, so she had access to the client's medical files and checks, and she could change them to appear the documents were hers or her children's. Masse even forged bank account records and credit card receipts to support the illusion that she dined at a given restaurant or bought spoiled food from a store. She used these things to get money out of restaurants, and here's how she did it. For nearly 4 years, Jacqueline Masse, 49, of Hampton, defrauded restaurants and insurance companies of nearly $400,000. Masse mailed letters to restaurants and food companies in which she falsely claimed that she or another member of her family became seriously ill after eating food served by the restaurants or packaged by the food companies. In some letters, Masse impersonated her children, claiming to have become seriously ill. In each of the letters, Masse falsely claimed that the purported letter writer paid or borrowed money to pay their medical expenses because they did not have health insurance. She demanded that the restaurant or food company reimburse the supposed letter writer for their medical expenses and compensate them for their pain and suffering. None of this was true. To support the demands of 12 letters she sent, Masse provided to the affected business and their insurance companies fraudulent medical records allegedly obtained from hospitals in New Hampshire and Massachusetts as false evidence of the fictitious illnesses. Masse stole and later altered some of the medical records from the client files of the law firm, where she worked as an office manager and paralegal. Masse also stole checks from the law firm, which she changed to support her fraudulent insurance claims. In correspondence with the insurance carriers, Masse demanded payments totaling more than $400,000. Some of the insurance companies responded by mailing insurance settlement checks totaling more than $206,000 to either Masse's home in Hampton or the homes of her children, who were unwitting participants in the scheme to defraud. To conceal her involvement in the fraud, Masse had her children deposit checks mailed to them into their bank accounts and then write Masse a check for the full amount of the payout. Masse pleaded guilty on November 14, 2019. In addition to her prison sentence, she was ordered to pay more than $200,000 in restitution. White-collar criminals like Masse cause real harm to businesses as well as to the general public. They steal money through lies and deceit, driving up costs for everyone. Her cynical scheme stole hundreds of thousands of dollars by falsely claiming that she and her family members became ill from consuming food at restaurants. For those who don't know, white-collar crimes are financial crimes that can include embezzlement, fraud, tax evasion, and other crimes involving misappropriation of funds, deception, or schemes. While white-collar criminals are often publicized as CEOs, wealthy top-ranking officials, and other persons in a position of power, anyone can commit a white-collar crime. In recent years, insurance fraud has topped the charts of instances of white-collar crime, falling only behind tax evasion, and more people than ever are being charged with these serious criminal offenses. So why insurance fraud? Insurance fraud is a broad category of white-collar crime, which can include healthcare fraud, driver's insurance fraud, a government benefit fraud, like defrauding Medicare, receiving unemployment or welfare you are not entitled to, or accepting other benefits you may not qualify for. While it is not necessarily easy to fake injuries, it is possible to settle with an insurance company that wants to avoid a lawsuit. However, individuals that falsify insurance documentation can face extremely serious consequences. Some may even face contempt of court, and not to mention fines and years of jail time. But with rapidly growing technology, surveillance cameras, audits, and other technological tools can help reduce some instances of crime overall. However, with technology also comes the availability of software to disguise wrongdoing, means to replace and destroy a paper trail, and the ability to falsify records. White-collar crimes coupled with an explicit attempt to cover up a crime will inevitably lead to additional charges, and increase the possibility of federal or more serious charges being filed against you. These insurance crimes work both ways. External insurance fraud is committed by policyholders or by professionals who assist those making claims. A common fraudulent activity is padding claims to make the loss appear more than it actually is. By overstating the damage, an individual claimant and an insurance adjuster, one who assesses the damage for the insurance company, receive a higher insurance payment than necessary. The adjuster then receives some of the payment for his or her part in the scam, generally called a kickback. Other aggressive schemes involve organized groups such as automobile accident rings. These crime rings file numerous accident claims involving fraudulent damage. Other fake claims involve falsifying or exaggerating injury claims. Fraudulent disability claims cost insurance companies over $1 billion per year. Insurance scammers are even able to fraudulently collect on life insurance policies, costing hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Internal fraud comes from within the industry through company officials, employees, and agents. One type of internal fraud is diverting insurance premiums paid by policyholders to the personal accounts of company employees. Agents can also receive policy payments and not pass them to the company. The most aggressive form of insurance fraud is creating an entirely bogus or fake company, often through offshore, not in the United States banks owned by criminals. A victim is conned into paying premiums to the non-existent insurance company for non-existent coverage. So, how can you not become a victim to these scammers? Knowing when an insurance scheme is unfolding and understanding how to avoid becoming a victim of an insurance scam can save you thousands of dollars. In trying to avoid these scams, it is crucial to know that no one is immune to insurance scams. The perpetrators of insurance scams target victims of all incomes, ages, education, location, and ethnic groups. Falling victim to a scam does not mean you are weak or stupid. Scammers may have years of experience and know exactly how to take advantage of their victims. Also, while most times it seems the insurance companies bear the burden of these frauds, it's actually insurance policyholders like you who suffer the higher premiums that these frauds lead to. So always guard your personal information. Scammers may try to make contact in a variety of ways, including telephone, email, postal mail, text messages, leaflets, and flyers. Generally, they're looking to steal personal information such as your Medicare number, which can be used to file bogus Medicare claims. Often the senior has no idea these claims are happening. Don't respond to companies you don't recognize, or click on links or respond to emails from people you don't know. And if you get a phone call from someone claiming to be from Medicare, hang up immediately, even if the phone number on the caller ID screen seems like it could be credible. Scammers can use a fake caller ID name to impersonate Medicare or another known organization. The longer you stay on the phone with the scammer, the more chance you have of divulging personal information. They try to gain your confidence to get your information so they can defraud you or use the information to defraud the government at your expense. Also, watch out for free offers or incentives. Scammers sometimes offer to send seniors durable medical equipment like crutches, knee braces, canes, and splints at no out-of-pocket cost to them. The fraudsters then convince the unsuspecting seniors to share their Medicare or Social Security numbers and use that data to bill Medicare for high-cost equipment. To make the sham seem more real, scammers sometimes send some type of lower-cost equipment to the recipient, but it's still fraud. Seniors should also discard direct mail solicitations or emails purporting to be from Medicare. Spammers spoof Medicare and set up fake websites that look identical to the real page in an attempt to steal personal information they can use to defraud Medicare. And don't forget to check your benefit statements. One way to detect potential Medicare fraud is to read your explanation of benefit statements carefully. Many people don't take this step at all, or they don't read the statements carefully, allowing multiple types of fraud to go unnoticed. One way to combat this is to be on the lookout for charges for products or services you don't recognize or don't seem to make sense. So, do you know about any white-collar insurance scammers?